Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome, welcome. We're here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world. We are in full swing now, so God willing, this will go a little bit more smoothly than our season 2 kickoff. Because that felt a little, it felt a little much.
It was
it's still feeling a little much.
A very necessary introductory kind of moving in, settling in.
It felt like, it still feels like
I could
giant learning curve.
Do with the curtains closed maybe, but you know.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you? I'm finally not, I might actually not cough my brains out finally.
You know, it'd be really funny if we got like 2 more of these backdrops and just made a bubble around the dining room table. This is the That Talking Podcast bubble.
This is our bubble?
Where all of our podcastingness is contained and it doesn't bleed out into the real world.
Yeah, because God forbid we get this out into the real world. We don't take this into the real world. This is the real world.
I mean, at this point, we're really just doing it for
Welcome to the real world.
Kermit T. Frog and Miss Piggy over there.
He's naked.
Told you, I must have done something with his clothes.
He's obviously.
They are out in the ether somewhere.
Well, before we get too deep into Kermit's wardrobe, we have rules, right?
Apparently he doesn't.
No, he's got no rules. He's no rules, just right, Kermit T. Frog. But here we have 3 simple rules, right?
Yep.
No judgment, nothing personal, and don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. And
right, that's it for my Kermit.
What are we what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about? You were talking earlier. I thought this was a great idea for an episode, and you never cease to. I can't think of the right way to say this.
Is this about your underwear?
You never give up an opportunity to point out the windows in the back of my underwear.
Okay.
Give our listeners the backstory.
Oh, that backstory. I see what you did.
I don't know what you're talking
my
about.
Husband.
Come on, out with it.
My husband.
Out with it. Give it all.
Does not.
Now.
I'm trying not to paint you in a bad light here.
There's no way to not paint this in a bad light.
You have holes in your underpants.
It's not all.
Like,
some.
Not the
some,
not the holes.
Acknowledge some.
Some.
Right.
Many.
No.
Not anymore, because many of them have gone to underwear heaven at this point.
No, you've only ripped, I think, 2 pairs off of me. There's the one. No, because one video we took was you ripping the underwear off upstairs, and the other video was you ripping a shirt off of me over there.
But you have gotten rid of a couple of pairs of underwear because they've given up.
You love like Hulk Hogan, while I'm still wearing it too.
But you have an interesting perspective on underpants. Is that
it's not underpants, it's clothing.
No. Underpants specifically. Because I have said on numerous occasions that I'm not a fan of underwear. I wear it out of necessity these days. Take that how you will. But you wear underwear because when I've said, why don't you just not bother wearing underwear? You have said, no, I wear underwear because you want to keep a barrier between your junk and your pants.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
I also like something cradling the balls.
Right. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly understandable. I get that.
Somebody once told me that it also is good for your back or good for your posture or something.
Underwear is good for your posture?
No. Something, I don't remember how he put it. Somebody once told me that if you have, like, wearing briefs as opposed to wearing boxers, if you have something like cradling your junk down there, that it's good for your posture or good for your body or something.
I mean, it does something,
gravity
obviously.
Is a bitch.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with bras. Bitch. Like, you don't have to wear a bra, but it does do things for you because gravity is real.
I wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, you would. It works the same as balls.
I've never worn a bra, though.
No, but you have cradled your balls.
So have you.
But the point being that you are specific in your criteria, And you don't care what it is. You just want a barrier. But you also,
That's
you
not
don't,
entirely
yeah, you
true.
don't want it tight. You don't want this. You don't want that. And it's like, you have had a hard time finding the perfect underpants.
Tight underwear gives me stomach cramps.
Okay, which is fine.
Anything with a tight,
I mean, you criticize when my underwear is tight.
because it looks painful.
It's
like
not.
I have like sympathy pains for you because it looks like I get stomach pains just looking at how tight against your body some of your underwear is.
You should see my pants.
I've seen your pants. I bought you pants. I wrote your size on the wall,
But
so I wouldn't forget.
But that's just it, is that you want something, and
Yeah.
as long as you have a comfortable fit between your ball sack and your pants, you don't seem to have a problem with the fact that your underwear is literally disintegrating before our very eyes.
Before we get to the disintegration factor, okay?
Okay.
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
As a woman
who's
gone commando many times,
yes,
do you ever feel any sort of discomfort when your jeans or anything with a zipper touches your genitalia? Or does the zipper in your jeans ever touch your genitalia?
So, no, because the zipper is in the front and girl bits are on the bottom.
Okay. All right.
Girl parts are on the bottom. They're you got the girl parts here, and the zipper is here. So this does not really do anything
than most men realize.
Now, don't get me wrong. If you still have,
for those of you who have a hard time finding it,
if you still have pubic hair, that's a public service right there. Thank you. But if you still have pubic hair, that can get stuck in a zipper.
If my hat was facing the other way, I'd tip it.
That can still get stuck in a zipper. I don't have that problem.
That's a public service, getting girls to shave.
But
nobody likes a landing strip anymore.
But
I have something you don't.
You brush away my. I beg your pardon. Yeah, you have something I don't.
But here's the thing: it's not just the pubic, or the fact that yours is lower. It's the fact that ball skin and penile skin can rest on the zipper, and that's very uncomfortable.
Now, when jeans, like the seam, because where girl junk is where all of the seams meet.
Like
I'm not doing this properly.
And you're on camera now too. I've had my testicle skin get snagged by my zipper.
Now
it's very painful.
I have had the seam of jeans go very forcibly into my labia. So I understand in theory this discomfort and a desire to prevent it.
I don't know what other guys do. I've done it both ways, where because you got the hole in the boxers or the briefs where you can poke your dick through, but I've always just unzipped, pulled the underwear down.
You ever go down to the leg, go pull the leg up and go underneath the leg?
That's more trouble than it's worth.
Is it?
I've never even heard of that.
Because then you got to tuck it back in. The leg of your underwear.
Or you could do what all young kids do,
just
and
drop it. Just drop trowel.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
I can't tell you in first and second grade how many urinals I've stood at, and I'm just doing it the normal way, and then the guy next to me just.
But the point is,
Henry does that.
The point of this story is that your underwear is we're watching it reach retirement. It's like the movie Boyhood, but with underpants. We're watching it age in real time. And you have developed a complex system of holes in your underwear.
For many washes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many washes, and God knows what else is happening, but there seems to be a pattern forming. A pattern where you end up with a little trumpet hole right around where your butthole would be. And one of your pairs of boxers has really given up the ghost.
I think all but one of them.
And the other night, I believe my exact reaction was, "Oh my God, there's a window in your underpants." And that was intense because that was, I mean, you're talking like, I mean, a hole, sir. A hole in the backside of your jockey shorts. That was just like,
Now,
here I am.
I ask, why do you care?
I don't care.
Then why are we
I
talking
don't
about
care
this?
specifically, but to a degree, it's sort of like when I see your undershirts and they get like, really stained because you're wearing them and you're sweating and you've had them
And
for
my antiperspirants don't do
exactly,
jack
and
shit.
you've had them for extended periods of time and everything. But eventually it's one of those things like, listen, the wash is not going to clean it anymore. That is permanent. And then it becomes a question of when do you replace something like that?
So I've always been a very frugal person,
Right.
and
Not to say cheap, because
well,
you're not.
Well, frugal doesn't mean cheap.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Cheap would be somebody who cuts corners to save money, I
Right.
would think. Whereas frugal is somebody who makes the most of everything, or yeah.
Right.
You can check out the Frugal
I
Gourmet.
was going to
for
say,
that.
like the Frugal Gourmet.
But when I find something comfortable,
Yeah.
something that I really, really like wearing, that's really, how can I put this? I hate retiring stuff, especially when it's comfortable, especially when it's broken in.
Yeah.
And, underwear is no different. Undershirts are no different. Jeans, especially jeans. The best jeans are always the first to go, But after so many washes, especially, I can't believe I'm giving out my laundry secrets. Like, this is ridiculous. Why are we talking about this? No, I refuse to give up on comfortable underwear. I just do. Because a lot of times when certain clothes have started to go, get holes, get thin, get, real fragile.
Fragile's a good word for it.
I've gone out and bought more. Sometimes, same brand, same style, or what I think it is, because you can't always get the same thing you have.
Oh, I know.
Because they change tags, they change design, they change stitching, whatever. And then that ends up not being what you really wanted. And I just end up going back to the stuff with the holes in it because it's broken in and it's comfortable, and there's why ruin a good thing. If it were completely non-functioning, like if there was no protective barrier,
yeah,
there, like if the holes are in the front and my junk is poking through and touching my zippers, that's a different story. Trumpet holes in the butt, like that doesn't.
Yeah, that doesn't faze you at all.
The seam in the back touching my asshole doesn't faze me at all.
Now this is a small picture, okay? The big picture of what this became, representative of
this is a real dirty talk.
Was the topic of holding on to things far beyond their lifespan, beyond their expiration date. Now, I am proud to say that Thursday.
Thursday.
Yes,
right,
no,
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah. When you were putting your new closet in.
I did. I got a new closet, and I'm very excited about it. And as I was organizing it and putting everything away, it's a closet system. An organizer makes it sound like a wire rack shelf.
No, it makes it sound like a trapper keeper. It's a trapper.
I got a 5-star closet notebook. With
folders.
As I was putting stuff away, I said goodbye. You're laughing. This is a very emotional moment for me.
It's just because of the way you said it.
It's a very emotional moment for me to admit that I am proud, though, that I bid farewell to quite a few pairs of shoes.
And when I handed them to the dude at Savers, I didn't think twice.
You brought him to Savers?
I did.
Oh, okay.
And he complimented me on my motorcycle.
You brought that giant bag to Savers on your motorcycle?
Yeah, it fit in the trunk.
That's surprising.
Well,
you didn't like throw stuff away to make it fit, did you?
No. You can ask the guy.
Yeah, I bid farewell to shoes that I had to admit I was definitely hanging on to past their expiration date. I mean, you're talking like the suede is completely worn away. The finishes are peeling off and everything like that. Shoes that I bought when I was in my 20s
Mm.
that I have no reason to wear. And in some cases can't wear. They are either uncomfortable or they don't fit. Like I have like over the knee boots that I can't get up over these big legs of mine now. These great tree trunks that I have now.
Remember that pair of jeans I tried putting on the other day from high school? The painter's pants?
You got them on?
Barely.
You totally got them on.
I gained some inches in the waist a while ago.
Well, yeah.
Those things used to be loose on me.
I mean, I gained too. Like I said, we all got bigger. But, I had to admit that it was very painful to have to make the call.
Yeah.
To have to make the call. If I had...
Because they're sentimental at that point. Like you have memories.
At some point, there is sentiment attached to it.
You have memories of wearing them,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It's hard to say, but it's one of those things that, like, I have to admit.
Your first date, your first time in the backseat of a Chevy.
Like, I am...
First time in the back of a Volkswagen.
I am definitely guilty of hanging on to stuff past its expiration date. I definitely am, especially when it comes to clothes, because I am the type of person who will be determined that, no, I'll wear it at some point. Oh, I don't want to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of it. When I was downsizing my closet in 2020, I ended up turning all of my t-shirts into a blanket.
That's
it's like...
awesome.
That, it's like, well, now what do I do? At least I can hang on to them. They're all here and everything like that. And you're talking, I think, 128 individual t-shirts that I made that blanket out of. Yeah. You should have seen the process.
I framed all mine.
Fucking bonkers.
Turn them into pictures.
Yeah. But I don't take issue with the fact that you are still getting use out of your underwear.
Because nobody
sees
it.
Same thing with socks. When socks have holes in them, it's like
no, you're not putting them in view of other people. No one knows that you have holes in your socks. No one's gonna know you have holes in your underwear.
But when you had holes in your jeans, those either needed to be fixed or they needed to be tossed. Now that's not my opinion. That seemed to have been yours.
Jeans more so than anything else, because like, for example, I found two very well-fitting, very comfortable pairs of blue jeans at Hot Topic back when I worked there, back when I was a senior in high school. And I hung on to them until about, I want to say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I bought those, I think those were they were either 34s when I was a 32 waist, or they were 36s when I was a 34 waist. Either way, by the time I got to 36, they were too tight to wear out in public because it's too uncomfortable.
Okay.
And I hung on to them for sentimentality, thinking that, like, oh, if I ever, lose some weight, I'll be able to wear them again. Who might sound like a woman now? I'm sorry, but that's reality. And then the same thing happened with these painter's pants. These painter's pants were always huge on me, so I always wore with a very tight belt. Never thinking one day that I would grow to like a 36 and then eventually a 38 waist.
Yeah.
To where now I think I'm either 36 or 37 wearing 38 clothes. But that's how it's always, like, I have always wanted to hang on to comfortable jeans.
Right.
Because when they're comfortable, I'm not a person who always has to have new clothes or designer clothes or anything like that. I just want what's comfortable, something I can wear over and over again. After so many washes, back when I used to do maintenance, and I'd always be on my knees, like putting furniture together and stuff like that, I used to get more and more holes. Like, motherfucker, or these really nice comfortable ones that I got at Bob's stores back when they were still in Brookfield.
Yeah.
That particular brand, I don't even remember the name of it, but those, I would go through those, but they were cheap, so I'd constantly buy them. The expensive jeans, forget about it. And especially now, jeans are like, what, $30, $40, $50 a pair? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. One of my many retail jobs when I was a young woman, was I worked, do you remember that fancy ass clothing store Cachet?
Vaguely.
It probably not. It tended to be a little bit more of a hole in the wall.
Was it in the mall?
It was in the mall.
Okay.
It was a mall staple in certain malls. This was while I was living in Albany, and I worked there for a few weeks. And company policy was they demanded that you wear their clothes.
Makes sense.
Perfectly fine. Their clothes were so outrageously expensive. They gave you like an employee discount of like 30%, but your first 6 items of clothing, first 6 purchases, they gave you 75% off.
Wow.
So that you could afford things. Because when I tell you it was outrageously expensive, I mean...
Have you seen Lululemon?
Yes, I have, which is why I don't own any.
One of my last security jobs was doing overnights in there. I don't even remember why they had us there. And I'd see like $85 pairs of underwear.
Yeah.
Like, well, you damn well better believe.
Victoria's Secret has gotten like that now too. They're like $90 for a pair of leggings, and I'm like, no.
I don't care how holy those underwear would get. I'll wear those to the grave. Fucking $85.
But like when I worked at Cachet, I got my 6 items of clothing, including several pairs of bedazzled jeans, and
like Elizabeth Hurley jeans.
Kinda, yeah.
I want to watch that now.
So. There was one pair of jeans that I wanted. They were dark blue, flare leg, and the back of one of the legs had this brown, like, filigree embroidery. And I was so madly in love with these pants. They did not have them in my size. And they were like an older style. So they weren't going to get more in my size. So I got a size down. I got a size 2. I never fit into them.
And you didn't
never ever
return them.
Nope. I was determined to fit into them. I was determined, and I hung on to them, and I did not get rid of them. This was in 2006 that I worked there, okay? And I think I finally got rid of them probably 2018, maybe. That's 12 years of hanging on to a pair of pants that still had the fucking tags on them. There's a dress in the closet upstairs that still has the tag on it because it's just a little too small for me. But I have made the vow to myself and to you, because that we share space, and I have made the vow that by the end of this year, if I don't fit into them, they're gone.
See, like, I know we're jumping around a lot here, but like, for example, my old suit is still upstairs. I think I'm never going to be able to get rid of that because like I've had that suit since I was at least 15, probably longer. So we're looking 22 plus years now.
Yeah.
I've worn it to weddings. I've worn it to funerals. I've worn it to job interviews. I've worn it to all sorts of things.
You wear a suit to a job interview?
How else are you going to get the job?
That's great.
And it's just like, and you know, of course it was bought for me by my mother.
Oh, even cuter.
Thanks.
That's cute.
And well, because there's a lot of clothes I still have that she got that I can't, like, because I look at them in the closet and I'm like, she got me that. I can't get rid of that. My old pair of boots are still hanging in the closet downstairs.
Yeah. That
have holes and are broken and everything. That was the last pair of boots she bought me as a Christmas gift before. They're expensive boots. Before she died, I'm like, maybe I'll fix them one day, maybe not. But it's just like, I don't know. But again, the other thing too is that when we were kids, she never threw anything away. So all of our kid clothes got hung on to, got stored away in bins and stuff in the basement somewhere, which came in very handy when the boy got to be the size I was at that age, because then it's like, you know, now I don't ever have to buy him clothes. I still have my old clothes here, which if he ever has an accident or anything like that, boom.
No, and that's
X-Men t-shirt for you, Goosebumps shorts, whatever.
Like, that's fantastic. That's good. And hanging on to stuff for sentimentality, that's fine.
Oliver actually wore a lot of my hand-me-downs when he was in first and second grade.
And I'll get them from him once he's out.
Which is really funny to see, you know, a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid in, when was this, 2015, 16, wearing like 90s Power Ranger shirts.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And his kids having no idea who that White Ranger is.
It's one of
his friends.
It's one of those things, though. Like, I've thought about it since we started talking about this. Like, I've been trying to think of like things that are just like I can't bring myself to get rid of them. I think I heard thunder.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm as guilty of it now as I used to be. I can definitely say that, like, I got to a point where I was like, oh, I'll wear it eventually. Oh, no, I don't want to. Oh, I got this at this show, or I got this on this tour, or at this festival. I got this. I was working and I got this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I know that I used to be guilty of it. And I think that in the last 5 years, I've really just sort of been like, who cares?
That's not to say that I haven't gotten rid of stuff, because I remember being in Walmart one day and I saw brand new, whatever brand jeans. They were $10 each, but they were so incredibly thick.
Yeah.
They fit. They were the right size, but they were just very thick and cumbersome and uncomfortable. And in summertime, who's going to want to wear those?
Yeah.
Even though they were $10 brand new, it's like, a couple of years, donate, done. Like, I barely ever wore them. And anytime I donate stuff, I don't want the fucking tax receipt. Who cares? Like, how much of a credit are you going to get? But a lot of the stuff I hold on, it's not even just clothes, anything. It's either sentimental or it's usable.
Yeah.
Functional. And again, why would anybody else care?
Do you think you place false sentimentality on, like, do you think you exaggerate the degree of sentiment that you have for certain things?
Honestly, everything is sentimental to me, because I will always associate everything in my life with certain memories. Like, I can look at anything in this room and be like, I remember when I got that. I remember who gave that to me. I remember, I certainly remember when she walked into my life. Can't get rid of that dog.
No.
Remember, we were driving past the pet place today, and I was
asked if we wanted to trade her in. No.
Do you? Do you?
I don't know. I think that sometimes sentimentality is, I think that in my case, I'm not suggesting in every case, but I think in my case, sentimentality is sort of like a crutch in some cases.
It's an excuse for not.
It's an excuse for not letting go of things.
Perfect example was that guitar the other day, the one I just sold.
Yeah.
Like, that has a lot of not even that particular one, but like that model in general has a lot of special memories for me. It also has a lot of really fucking painful ones. So despite the fact that you liked it and wanted me to hang on to it, it's like the when we sold the business, I stood to make too much money not to selling it.
Yeah.
And just looking at it reminds me of all those memories compiled into one. And it's just like, if I really want another one down the line, like I've always said, I'll get one.
Yeah.
But right now, when there's bills to pay, it's just like, it's just sitting collecting dust. Get the fuck rid of it.
I did that with my jewelry a few years back.
You also know how much I like chasing down things that I once had that I want back.
Yeah. Because
that gives purpose, and that can be fun and exciting. And I do love a good chase. Yeah. As evidenced by what a grand pursuit you must be.
Hey, we're recording in here, asshat. Yeah, I think that in my case, I can definitely admit that I am guilty of, like, using the excuse of sentimentality. Like, I sold because I had to, because I was broke. I had to sell my engagement ring from my first marriage. That ring was fucking beautiful, and it was worth a lot of money.
I'd be a little worried if you were still hanging on to that now.
It was an absolutely gorgeous ring, and I loved it. But the fact of the matter is that my first marriage fell apart, which is a painful memory. Like, I'm not like, whatever, fuck it about it. Like, it is a painful memory. I'm not made of stone. But it was still really hard to bring myself to sell it because I kept saying, I was like, oh, but it's so pretty. And, it was on my finger for so many years and blah, blah, blah and everything. And, I don't blah, blah, blah to downplay everything, but like, it was one of those things where it was like, I need the money. and this is something I have that's worth money. And that was one of the hardest things that I had to make the call on. And it's not the same, but I felt the same way having to give up my shoes on Thursday.
I'll give you a similar example. So I have a handful of guns in the house, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Very few of them are ones that I bought myself.
Okay.
Okay. Most of them were gifted or I inherited.
Okay.
Now, not just gifted, like handed over.
Right.
Like,
no, through the proper
paperwork
channels.
and everything, because but a couple I inherited from my brother, and one was gifted to me by him while he was still alive, and another was gifted to me by Dad. But I don't need all of them, because not even from a take self-defense and all that out of the equation, okay? From a collecting standpoint, and from a again, I hate letting things sit around collecting dust. I just can't stand it. Every once in a while, I need a purge, whether it's of items or Facebook friends I don't talk to or whatever it is. I like working with a clean slate.
Yeah.
And starting fresh and then going from there. It's good every once in a while. It's a good cleanse of the soul.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I look at these guns and I don't even really shoot that much anymore.
Yeah.
Without John here and the fact that Dad isn't so readily able to just go,
right?
It's never fun. It's like doing anything else alone. Like if you really want to, you'll go do it alone. But doing it without somebody that you used to enjoy it with is not as much fun,
right?
And without the two of them, it's just not really all that much fun. So these guns are sitting around collecting dust, and I'm like, I know there's people out there that could appreciate these more than me.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just sit in their safes and collect dust too. Who knows? And again, like I always say, if I really want it back, I'll get it back.
Yeah. And I like that attitude. I like that attitude because I want to, a part of me wishes that I had that attitude. And I know that I have the capability.
I'm sure your shoes are on the shelf at Savers right now. We could go right after we're done.
I've already paid for them once. I don't want to pay for them again.
You want funny side part to that? We had a crew come in and clean out what was left of John's place. They took a whole bunch of pictures and stuff that he had hanging on his walls and brought it to Savers. I'm going through, or not Savers, Goodwill. I'm going through the Goodwill here in town one day, and I saw some of them, and I had the opportunity to just take them. I ended up buying them from Goodwill.
I like, just to get back to it, I like your attitude about if I had something that I really loved and I got rid of it and I want it back, I'll go get it.
Or you'll just have me get it.
Well, no, I'm saying that's the attitude that you have. I think more people should develop that sort of, that frame of mind, because it will discourage hanging on to things past their expiration date. When something no longer serves you, you shouldn't be holding on to it. You shouldn't be holding on to it if it doesn't provide something for you. And like you say, there's sentimentality and there's functionality.
That's circumstantial, though. Yeah.
I don't know. You
literally just said it. Sentimentality and functionality.
Yes, but those are the two ways in which these things serve you.
Me personally,
personally.
Anybody else could probably find a myriad of other reasons.
But that's just it. Are they reasons or are they excuses? Because again, I have had many, many pieces of jewelry, watches, diamond rings, all of these things. And it's just I had diamond earrings, beautiful diamond earrings. Okay. I stretched my ears. I can't wear earrings anymore. And I sold them because I was like, well, what am I going to do?
Get new piercings.
I thought, and then years later when I was like, oh, maybe I'll pierce my, as I'm thinking, I've got all of this ear meat over here. I could pierce that. And I'm just like, and of course now I don't have my $2,000 diamond earrings anymore.
I'm just an ear with meat.
But it was one of those things that it's one of those things that for so long I am 100% guilty of. I will hang on to something just because maybe at some point, Like, that's always the reason behind it, is maybe at some point in the future, maybe it will be of use again. It's like, that to me is a crutch. It's an excuse and it's a crutch, because it doesn't, nothing in that sense will serve you, meaning me, because you are holding on to something that has memory attached to it, good or bad, and everything, thinking that at some point that memory will be replaced by a new memory on the same object. And I don't think that's how it works.
If we had the space to house everything,
oh,
and I
man,
mean everything,
we'd never get rid of anything.
I'd be like my mother, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
get rid of.
Wouldn't get rid of a fucking
Now,
thing.
speaking of her and this kind of situation,
Yeah.
you know, we don't have a very big house.
No.
I used to have to tell her all the time, Ma, go easy on the gifts,
Yeah.
especially with the kids, because, you know, he's already got crayons and coloring books. He doesn't need a whole kit, a whole new set or whatever, but that would never stop her. You know, I just have to tell Dad the exact same thing. Like, Henry's already got a ton of Hess trucks and cars and everything. Stop. He doesn't need anything huge. He doesn't need more than one thing.
I've tried to tell this. I've tried to tell this to my parents in the last couple of years. You're talking about a kid who, at his age, his interest in what he wants to play with
changes all the time.
Changes all the fucking time. Don't spend all of this money on stuff that we are going to have to house, because he's not going to want to play with it in 2 months.
See, now conversely, I was the complete opposite. All that stuff that's on the bookcase right now that you see, okay? I told you, Friday nights, I used to have board meetings with that stuff.
You had one yesterday.
I used to get a pizza, a 2-liter, put on Courage the Cowardly Dog or Cartoon Fridays, and I would set all those figures up. And this was only if I wasn't, you know, able to go out or go somewhere. I you know.
How old were you?
Late elementary, early middle school, probably. And it's just because at that point, it's like, you know, I was very fortunate. My mother gave me so much, all the time, and so I to this day try to get miles out of everything from the toys to the clothes to like she's been dead now 6 years, 6 years, and again, I can't bring myself to stop getting use out of things that she got me.
But you do. That's just it.
Her coat.
I know.
Her coat has been hanging on the back of the bathroom door.
Know.
And I've been wearing that, you know, I used to wear that while waiting for the bus.
Yeah.
I haven't put it on since I brought it here, but, you know, again, that's...
I have. You've put it on me.
You've worn my mother's...
You put it on me.
I did?
Yes. I wouldn't take a dead woman's coat.
I would hope not.
But yeah, I don't know.
You know,
I think more people should. I think more people should think like you.
She always used to say like that she wanted to be buried in the dress that she wore to Mark's wedding.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times she actually wore it. Like I knew she wore it to the wedding and maybe like once or twice after that.
Yeah.
If at all, even that much. But that's exactly what we buried her in.
Aw.
Because that's what she wanted.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Your list of things that you want to be buried with just keeps getting longer.
Yeah,
and longer.
I need a bigger and bigger casket every day because I want everything. Cards,
it's
action
all
figures.
going with, yeah.
We're gonna need room for 2 guitars now.
We're gonna set it all on fire.
Just put me all in the kiln together.
Yep.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is gonna go. Your urn is gonna be like this big because it's gonna be full of the ashes of everything we burned.
And
with
despite the fact that I don't want that to you guys are just gonna, and then you're gonna put me in like a trash compactor.
No, that would be gruesome.
Not
but
for me,
I mean, like you talk about hanging on to things well past their expiration date.
I'm telling you, if you feel
I will stuff you like taxidermy and just hang on to you and just be able to hug, just have you like this and just hug you.
Just Walt Disney me first. Make sure my brain, you know, at least there's the slim possibility that my brain can go into another functioning apparatus.
As long as your brain is functioning before you die. If your brain is gone, I'm not gonna keep it. That's like just keeping like an old cantaloupe.
I've always had a very like unnatural kind of fascination with immortality. Because like I don't know if I've said this on the podcast. I am terribly afraid of death. I am terribly afraid of the end.
Yeah.
And so I want to. That's why I've said to you, like, keep me alive at all costs. All
And
costs.
I will.
You know, the whole DNR thing. Like, no, resuscitate me, even if I'm a fucking vegetable. Like, I want a fighting chance at all times. Because you know, more miraculous things have happened than we know. And
No,
it's just
I
like,
get it.
You know,
I get it. And I know that those are your wishes, and I will hang on to you long past your expiration date.
And on that note,
because I love you.
And I love you.
This was a fun talk.
We definitely got more out of this than I thought we would. See, we were frugal with the episode too.
Well, thank you out there in podcast land for listening to us. We had a blast. Check us out on social media, DT Andy and JJ Star with 2 R's on Instagram. Also, Tax Collectors and Harlots and Love Hard Art and Coat of Arms Tattoo on Instagram. And this one's coming out after the Cobra Wrestling show. So what do you have after that? You've got May 9th, right?
Man, May 10th.
No, May 9th. No, May 9th. I know for a fact.
Oh, help me out here, guys.
May 9th. I'm helping you. I'm right here.
I gotta we have May, whatever it is, and then at the end of the month too, and I can't remember which is which.
Well, May 9th is Bleachers.
You are, yeah. May 9th is Bleachers.
Yeah.
In Bristol, Connecticut, and then May 31st is the Main Street Tavern in Stratford.
Yeah.
Right down the street from James's place.
Right down the street from James's place.
We did one down the street from us. Now we got to do one down the street from him. Main Street Tavern's a nice place.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
I like taverns.
So yeah. And May is gonna be an interesting month for me.
Oh boy. We could have done a whole episode about that.
We might.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into it right now. We may be taking a week or so off. Hopefully not, but we may be. Everything's fine. And it's going to be good. And we'll talk about it later. If you have comments or questions, go to our website at thattalkingpodcast.buzzsprout.com and send us a text message. Show your concern for your favorite podcasters. We're on camera.
Nobody heard that.
Everybody saw it, though.
Excuse me. That's one more hole.
Oh, God.
Oh, these are brand new ones, too. Damn.
Oh, my God. There's nothing sacred anymore.
I did find more comfortable underpants.
Yeah.
I have to go one size bigger now.
Well, whatever works for you, baby. Oh, man. But,
just the right way.
Yeah. God. I still love you.
You better.
I do. And we're going to call that a full lid from the 3 of us at That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Star.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
We'll talk to you later.